Hello and welcome to another Doctor's Assistant 1 video. Today I'm doing a review of the first Doctor as played by, you guessed it, or maybe you didn't, David Bradley from An Adventure in Space and Time even. The Doctor Who documentary that released back in 2013 as part of the 50th anniversary celebrations. We've finally got a David Bradley action figure in the collection, which on a personal level is mad and, madness, because for me as a Doctor Who fan and as a collector and as an obsessive fan, I've now got, if you include this figure in the collection, 4 versions of the first Doctor, which is just insane because maybe 3-4 years ago I only had one first Doctor, so to have already got 3 more is kind of just bonkers to me. This retails for $24.99 here in the UK on the website as well as in stores. It is available on the website, however it does always immediately just disappear. So there is quite a lot of high demand for this one, which would make sense because you have got a new head sculpt here with David Bradley as the first Doctor, side view. The only annoying thing is for me is that I've got this version where he's got a little bit of like the flesh colour of his face on the hat almost, which is a little bit annoying, but it, like my mum said, it does actually look like the likeness is very good to David Bradley as the first Doctor in An Adventure in Space and Time, which is just, in my humble opinion, nuts. I didn't think we'd ever get a figure like this. I don't know why, I just didn't think that Character Options would ever really bother releasing a version of the first Doctor that is played by a different actor, Does this open the door to, as fans probably have been speculating now, like a Richard Handel version, because we've now got this version of the first Doctor, do you know what I mean? Like, although I guess it makes more sense to have this version of the first Doctor as he's appeared now more since, both in Big Finish and in the actual televised show, because since doing An Adventure in Space and Time, he appeared obviously in Twice Upon Time, and then spoiler alert for the 13th Doctor, the last story, but he appears in Power of the Doctor. So yeah, articulation is standard for a Character Options figure, arms full 360 degrees, in at the elbows, full 360, sort of that, knees, out, and then the head does turn full 360, I suppose. Oh well, side to side, I guess, but the scarf sort of hinders the head moving. But yeah, that being said, the scarf is this nice sort of toothpastey looking scarf with the sort of red, green and white. And then you're basically using the previous Hartnell body, I suppose, from the previous Hartnell box, which released the end of last year, I think, 2021, which is fucking nuts. Apologies for swearing there, but absolutely nuts. It's a shame he doesn't come with a cane, I'll be honest. That's the one thing that I do think's a bit annoying. Although I suppose it is nice that they included the hat and that as well. And again, the likeness to David Bradley is just spot on. I do think it's very accurate, and the trousers are this sort of white with black checkered stripes on them, which are apparently a bit more accurate to the previous Hartnell we got. So people have suggested maybe you could boil and pop, or use the boil and pop method to take this head off and swap Hartnell onto this one for more accurate sort of trousers, I suppose. But yeah, that's the David Bradley figure out of the way. Onto the main bulk of this review, I suppose, which is the new SFX sound effects TARDIS, which is why this probably set retails for $24.99. It's a bit more expensive than the Dalek packs, but again, you are getting a place. Well, it's not a playset, but a prop from the show, as it were. The batteries are not included, however there is a panel obviously with a screw there to take off to make the TARDIS do this. and then also do that. Turn it off now, but yeah, it is bright, it's very loud, 10 out of 10 in terms of the sound effects. As usual with the sort of classic series TARDISes, which is accurate to the show, when you open the doors, there is nothing inside, there is no sort of backdrop, which again is accurate to the actual TV show, I suppose, so that's cool that they kept that there, I guess. I mean, maybe for this one you could argue it could have been nice if they'd have put in a sort of coloured backdrop of like the first Doctor TARDIS, you know, kind of like, I don't know, it's just a bit of a homage to the sort of an adventure in space and time, make it a bit more unique and differentiate it from the other set we got, which is basically this sort of TARDIS minus the sound effects and in a sort of very sort of darker blue, almost greyish sort of effect to go with the sort of 1960s black and white sort of thing, although I have noticed that this is very subtle and very minor detail that I've noticed since taking a closer look at this and comparing it to the previous one, which I don't have to hand. It is in my bedroom, but just can't be asked getting it, basically. The handle on that previous one is silver, and likewise with this, and this one's brown, or more of a copper, sort of bronze colour. I'm not sure if that's accurate to an Adventure in Space and Time, or more accurate to the original Prokaki box, exterior box, or not, or if it was just something that they did in an Adventure in Space and Time. Like the previous box, the St. John's Ambulance logo is sort of alluded to, but is sort of etched out. The public call box sort of thing has got this sort of teabag stained sort of effect on it, whereas I think the other one has just it in a sort of a white with very clear black text, whereas this one doesn't have that. It's also in this sort of blue, this sort of darkish blue with this sort of Artex sort of wood graining effect with like a black wash over it. I really do like the effect of this one, of this TARDIS box. I like the police public call box bit there, and I like the amount of like stacked roofs and stuff. It works for me. I really do like it, and I also like the what's the right word? This sort of marbly textured effect in the corner windows of the box as well, which carry out even onto the side windows and the back and that. And then you've got the speaker there, and as I said earlier, you've got like a panel here to get a screwdriver and put in 3 AAA batteries, and then you've got underneath your on-off switch there, and then your button there to make the noises and then turn it off quickly before your parents get annoyed at you. It's a good set. I think the last, if I'm not mistaken, like Batman March said, the last SFX, sound effects sort of TARDIS we got was the 13th Doctor's TARDIS exterior box, which was, I think, was that at B&M, or was that a Character Options exclusive? Or was it on character and in B&M, but not as an exclusive to either, maybe, if that makes sense. I'm not sure. Please do comment below if you know the answer to that, because I'd be interested to know. But, yeah, I think if you then take pictures as well of this one, even though it's in colour, as it were, in contrast to the previous one, which again has that sort of more, sort of darker bluish colour, almost sort of a dark grey or black colour to it, but it is still blue, but it's a very dark blue, or very sort of a different sort of blue. This one works really well, and if you just put in a black and white filter, it'll work as sort of going for a 1960s look, if that's what you're going for when you take pictures of this. So yeah, thanks for watching. Please do comment, rate and subscribe to the channel. I do think this is going to be highly sought after, so I'd recommend getting it as soon as possible. And thanks for watching. Bye.